Hey there, neighbors. It is another Sunday evening, and thank you for joining me here in my stamping corner at Crafting in My Corner. I had a few setbacks today, and so that's why I'm on a little bit later than I normally am. But we're going to try and get a card done. I have one ready for tonight, and it is beautiful. It uses the Beauty of Friendship stamp set, and this will look the proper direction when I show you from the other camera angle. I had a terrible time setting up my tripod tonight, and I broke a light bulb, and I'm ready to do some stamping, but I also know that I have to be kind of quick tonight because I also have to get my kids ready for bed and ready for school tomorrow. So let's get right into our card. I've already prepared some of the pieces ahead of time so that we can move a little bit more quickly than we normally would. And I'm sorry if my lighting is a little bit off tonight. I have some electrical issues too in my corner tonight. Some of it my fault, some of it I don't know, it came out of the blue. So let me turn the camera around and we'll get started. Let's see, oops. All right. Sorry you had to look at all of my basement junk tonight. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Hold on. The camera's at a little different angle tonight. I don't know why, but I was struggling with my tripod tonight. I'm still learning the best ways to do everything, and so hopefully you guys can bear with me. And if you're watching on YouTube and you want to like and subscribe to my channel, that would be great. And if you like and share my video on Facebook, that helps me too. So tonight we are going to make a card with the Beauty of Friendship stamp set. And the colors of paper that we're using tonight are all in the neutrals. All in the neutrals card pack. So first you're going to take your piece of Mary Merlot and you're going to score it. It's okay, so the piece is 5.5 by 8.5. We're going to score it at 4 1/4, and then we're going to fold it in half right along that crease. I hope there aren't too many shadows for you guys tonight. All right, and then we need a piece of designer series paper, and this is from the Beauty of the Earth set, and it's cut at 4 by 5 1/4. So that's going to be our next layer, and I'm just going to show you all the layers first, and then we'll go ahead and put it together. Our next piece is going to be Early Espresso, and that is 3 by 4. The piece after that, and this I stamped on already, so I'll go back at the end and stamp these if you want to see how to stamp them. But to save us a little bit of time tonight, I pre-stamped some of my pieces. And this piece of basic white is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and so that is going to go on here. And then we are going to place our tree here, and as you can see, I'm going to have to cut off a little bit at the bottom. And this tree was die cut using the Beautiful Trees dies. And then I stamped this one, and it's gonna go like this. And we have a couple more things to do. So let me start putting this together. So first we're gonna stamp our, we're not gonna stamp our DSP. We're gonna glue it. So we're gonna put, I like to use the liquid glue. You can use whatever glue you have. You can use double-sided tape runner. Stampin' Up has a great one of those. I like the liquid glue because it allows me to move my pieces around a little bit if I don't get them right in the center. And I can be a little picky about whether they're in the center or if they're a little bit crooked. I have a tendency to not like that very much at all. So there is our first layer. That's our designer series paper. Now we're gonna take our early espresso and this piece, which we already stamped on. I already stamped this one for us. Let me stamp another one just so you can see how I did that. And my piece of scrap paper is pretty stamped up already, but I don't think you'll mind. So first I have my Stampin' Pierce mat because we're using photopolymer stamps tonight. So you want foam backing. You can use the foam that comes in the Stamparatus. You can use the Stampin' Pierce mat. Whatever you have, that'll work for you. And then we're going to use early espresso for our tree trunks. And we're actually going to stamp a little bit off the page here. So I'm going to put my tree trunk here on my clear block, and I am using block I tonight. And I'm just going to tap it in my ink a couple times till it's covered. And I stamped off this one because I don't want their trunks to be too bright. So I'm just going to stamp here on the side on my scrap paper. And then I'm going to huff on my stamp a little bit, which just means kind of breathe heavy on it. And what that does is it just gives the ink a little extra oomph, the ink that's left on there. And I'm going to stamp off of my piece just a little bit. Then I'll get a little more ink and stamp off again. And this one I'm going to put a little higher up over on this side. And there are those. And then I can clean that stamp off. Just give it a quick swipe on my chamois. Now you'll notice that this photopolymer stamp is pink. And that's because I've used it a lot, and I've used it with black ink and red ink and early espresso, which has a red, it leaves kind of a red tint behind on your photopolymer stamps. You can scrub them. You can use, if you use a stays-on remover, more of that pink ink will come off. But I don't have any where it's ever gone away completely. They do get a little bit cleaner with the stays-on remover, but not, I don't think they're ever like new. Okay, and then we're gonna take this big tree image, which is this one here. There we go. I'm trying to hold it so you can see. I've had a little bit of trouble with my lighting tonight. If you saw my post earlier, I broke my light bulb, which was kind of my own fault, because I drug it over here trying to use it in the corner for, it's supposed to be just for taking pictures, and I was trying to use it at my desk, and it was plugged into an extension cord, and I caught my leg on it and tipped it over. So, and then I'm going to stamp these off too, which I didn't do with my first one, but I want these trees to be softer than my middle tree. I want my middle one to stand out more. And I actually forgot the first time to stamp off. I was so excited about the card. I really like this one. I hope you guys will like it too. Okay, so then we have our 2 background trees stamped. And I'm just gonna clean this one off real quick. I probably won't use it for any other color, but I don't wanna leave it with ink on it. Okay, and then we can put our early espresso aside. And next, we're gonna stamp this part here, which is the little top of the tree. So I just need my piece of Whisper White. Actually, it's not Whisper White, it's called Basic White now. I think I'm still a little out of sorts tonight, you guys. Thank you for hanging in here and bearing with me. Okay, so there are our background trees. And then we need this stamp here, which is this one, and I'm going to put that on block D. Now you can use all the same block if you only have one block, but I like to use different ones just because then I don't have to take them off of each one off of the block every time I'm using it. So I'm going to tap that in my Mossy Meadow ink and stamp it down nice and even. And let me clean that one off because I'm only going to use it the one time. And next, I'm going to use this stamp here on the same block, and I'm going to stamp it in Mary Merlot, and that's what's going to give us that nice little red color on there. How much is the clean? This chamois, I think it's $7, Jillian, but I can look it up real quick in a second here. It's definitely worth it. All you have to do is put water on it, and it cleans the stamps right off each time. And you don't get any little fuzzies on them. Okay, so there is that. And then I'm going to stamp off a little bit so I can get some of that red ink off. And I just keep mine in an empty stamp case. So it's really great for traveling. All you need with it is some water. So down here in my corner, there's a sink in the other corner, but to avoid going there, I have a little bottle of water, a spray bottle over here. I use that when I'm ironing too. It's just distilled water. So there is my little tree. And what I would do, oops, I'm sorry guys, I just bumped into that. What I would do next is take the top part and fit my die around it. And this is a die that comes in the Beautiful Trees dies. This matches the Beauty of the Earth set. This has a really wonderful tree and these cute little birds, which I have used I think once so far, but I really love those little birds. And I have big plans for them. So hopefully I'll get more stamping time and I'll get lots of little birds made. Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside and I'm gonna use the tree that I made earlier to continue on our card. For now, I'm I'm going to close up my inks real quick because I won't need them again until I stamp my sentiment on the front. Okay, so I'm going to use this new background that I made because I like it best. So I'm going to turn it over, put my glue a little bit around each edge, and then a squiggle in the middle. And I'm going to attach that to my early espresso piece, just like that. And I'm going to measure my little tree, and I think I want it to be right about here. So then I can take my paper snips and just cut the bottom off. And I'm going to put the tree flat on there. So I'm going to turn it over and just put a little bit of the liquid glue along the back. Now I'm trying to pick it up carefully so I don't get all that glue all over my fingers, which usually I don't mind, but I want to keep going tonight, so probably wouldn't be the greatest idea. And I'm gonna glue my tree trunk on there. And now I have some ribbon that is called Fine Art ribbon. And I don't know if you can see in the picture there, but it's really pretty, like a little glittery gold inside there. So what I'm going to do is cut a piece long enough to go around. And to attach this, I'm going to use some glue dots, mini glue dots. And they come in this little box on a little roll. And they're cute as can be. And then I'm just going to press my ribbon down on top of them so that I get 2 on this end. And then 2 on the other end. And now I'm going to put it right along that bottom edge. And I can wrap it right around. And then I'm going to take the ribbon one more time. And I'm going to tuck it underneath and tie a little knot. Sometimes I have to move my ribbon when I'm tying just to get it out of the way. So now I've got a cute little knot there, and I'll trim the ends. And this part I'm going to turn over and use some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back. Well, how come I'm always getting just the mini ones, but there are regular size ones too? I just don't know where they are right now. So I'll put 1 on each corner, and then because I'm using the little ones, I'm going to put 1 kind of in the middles here so that my piece doesn't get smushed down if it goes in the mail. All right, and then I am gonna put this kind of in the middle. And I'm going to turn over the top of my tree and put 3 Stampin' Dimensionals on there. Thank you for joining me so late tonight, you guys. I did try really hard to get on earlier, but I couldn't make it. And I'm just going to put this on top like that. And then I have one more thing that I wanted to stamp. So here is another piece of basic white, and this one is 1 1/4 by 3 1/2. And I want to stamp this sentiment right here. Friendships refresh the soul. Because I thought this would be a good friend card to send. I don't know who it's going to yet. But I just thought that was a great card. And then when I line my photopolymer stamps up to put them on my block, I like to line them up along my grid. And you can use grid paper or you can use the edge of a paper. I just like to pick one word that goes in a straight line, and then I try to line my block up the edge with another straight line. It just makes me feel like I'm going to get a straighter image when I stamp than I would if I just put it on there willy-nilly, you know. All right, and I'm going to stamp it in early espresso. So I'll take my stamp, tap it on my ink. Oh, I tapped my finger in the ink. Of course I did. There we go. I think I got enough of it off that it's going to be okay. And then I'm going to line it up on the edge and press down gently. There we go. Now on this end right here, I'm going to take and I'm going to trim, let's see, maybe like this to make it look like a banner. Now you can take and measure it out if you want to, or there is a banner punch you can buy. But sometimes when I'm in a hurry, I don't get out my punch, I just trim the ends. So our card is almost done. And I'm going to turn it over. And am I gonna put, let's see, let's look at it one more time. I think I kind of want it to go right there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna put those Stampin' Dimensionals on it. I'm gonna use some liquid glue. Let me double check and see which side is the top. And I'm gonna put it along the top and then kind of down here, but not at the very bottom, because I'm going to kind of slide it in there a little bit, or at least that's my plan. Okay, so now I'm just going to slide this in so that it lines up with the bottom, just like that. So there is our card for tonight, made with the Beauty of Friendship stamp set. And I did use the Beautiful Trees dies, but if you didn't want to use the dies, you could always stamp this image and then just use a pair of snips to cut around it. That would be really easy. Well, not really easy, but if you like to cut things out, that's definitely an option. I shouldn't say it's really easy because it's probably not for everyone. All right, let me clean off my stamps here. And remember, if you are watching on YouTube, you can like this video and subscribe to my channel. You can share it on Facebook or whatever platform you want to. If you want to place an order, you can visit aliciadolan.stampinup.net, and the host code is right here. The host code for the month is 77RQ3HDY. Thank you, Kathy. And another thing you can do if you want to, I have opened an online store, and so if you go to the Facebook page and you click shop, it will take you to the store where I have some of my cards for sale. I have some rice eye masks for sale and a few other things that I have made in my crafting adventures here at Crafting in My Corner. Thank you for joining me today. I'm really glad that you could, and I will see you next Sunday for another Stampin' Sunday video. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.